This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
I'm here to talk about some of the planter research we are doing at K-State. We have a good team where there are ag engineers involved, people from Agronomy who are helping us with the emergence, stand count, and all those things. And we have a Agri-Economist on board. So Ignacio Ciampitti, Lucas Haag, Terry Griffin, and myself, AJ Sharda from Bio and Agri-Engineering. We are engaged in multiple projects looking at what these new planter technologies have to offer. One of the things we started with, we're looking at the newer planting technologies in terms of electric seed meters with turn compensation. These are much smaller, compact, very little moving parts. And we want to see that how fast you can plant and how accurately you can space the seed when you're out in the field. So we did a small study over the winter. We did a high-speed imaging project where we were planting corn at different speeds. We were planting corn at different populations, and we collected almost 1.8 million images and built up a data analysis or image analysis program to look at accuracy. And what we learned that you can go up to 7.5, 8 miles per hour, and you should still be within 96.5, 97% singulation, which was pretty good. The thing which was different in terms of the planter, it's a Horsch planter we have. It's a product out of Germany. Is that the seed plates are much smaller in diameter, so they move twice as fast as compared to some of the 12, 13, 14-inch seed plates we have in other planters. But what we learned that there is a threshold in terms of the seed plate RPM. So there is a combination of what speed you are planting and what population you are planting decides the RPM of your meter. So after a certain threshold, you start to drop on your singulation aspect. So that was a pretty good learning from our perspective. And this is not true for Horsch. This should be true for other planters coming from John Deere and precision planting technology, and it goes CNH. So overall, the aspect of electric seed meter, which gives us this functionality. We also learned that we can implement turn compensation. That means if we are planting on contours or when we are turning around the corners, every single row is planting at the same spacing as you would like. That means every meter is moving at a different RPM based on its own speed on ground. So we can maintain much better plant spacing even on the turns as well. Another feature which is coming pretty soon is we will be able to plant any population on any row. So essentially what we will have is we will not have a 12-row planter. We will have 12 one-row planters in terms of every row is able to do in terms of spacing and and singulation and all those things. Another important thing which we are looking at is planter downforce. There are a lot of newer technologies or systems from different manufacturers. Some people use pneumatic systems, some people use hydraulic systems. But the questions the producers have been asking, people who wanted to adopt this technology has been asking is what kind of a variability does it exist in my field? Does it really warrant for adopting or having this technology on my planter? Because there's a $15,000 to $30,000 cost in terms of putting these systems in. So we spread out in and around Manhattan. We selected 3 different sites in Olsburg, Junction City, and Clay Center. All these fields were very different in terms of terrain and terraces and moisture content, what the residue was, what the previous crop was. And we selected few fields we planted with fixed downforce, and we selected few fields with the active downforce control. Couple of things I'm going to talk about, very key things. There was a definite variability in gauge wheel, load variability. So what essentially that means is that you go out, you set your planter in, you set your gauge wheel, you look at the depth, you see, the seed spacing is good, depth is good, you go out and plant. You never change that. But if you see all those 3 fields, you will never be, you will not be in that gauge wheel load range you selected all the time. We also see that there was a row to row variability. That means if at any given instance there are gauge wheels which have 100-pound load versus 300-pound load, that tells that we need to have some sort of a section control. And what we learned that smaller sections, the better you are. We also learned that the soil texture and the moisture has a definite impact on the gauge wheel load variability. To give you a very quick synopsis in what we learned on active gauge wheel load or downforce control systems, that we were able to control the gauge wheel loads more accurately as we were traversing through different soil types, different textures. We were also able to achieve a very consistent seeding depth on all the 3 sites. We were within plus or minus 1/4 of an inch in terms of seed placement. We also learned that as you start to go faster in terms of planting speed, you try to lose a little bit of depth, but even at 7.5 miles per hour planting speed, we were right around that plus or minus 1/4 of an inch threshold. We were a little, over that, but we were very close. We were pretty good on emergence. So on all of our plots, by the end of 3rd day, almost 97 to 98% plants were emerged. So pretty consistent. All the plants were out within 2 to 3 day period. So these were some of the key, very, very key learnings in terms of what we learned. We also learned that the gauge wheel, as if you have a good system, hydraulic system, what we tested is that those systems try to maintain your gauge wheel loads very consistently, and that can give you good seed placement in terms of depth, more uniform emergence. You won't have either seeds which are planted shallow, which may not emerge, or very deep, or with excessive sidewall compaction, which you may never see. So it definitely has a lot of impact in terms of yield. We also compared tire tracks versus non-tire tracks. So we saw that there is a definite impact in terms of tire tracks, old sprayer tracks, combine tracks. So for what we have learned in the first year, there's a definite advantage of using these systems, these newer technologies, and hopefully we'll start to see some more adoption, more results, and they can bring more value to the farmer.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop liquid crop nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.